Hello, Whittles. I just wanted to say two things. Oh my god, the hunter's nearby, and I think he's heading towards, he's heading towards patient. But, yeah, NetEase is using AI from what I've seen on some recent videos. And from the looks of it, I really don't think that, nobody's called that out. I feel like I'm the only one that's called it out. Wait, have other people? Yes, actually, I saw it on TikTok and on Twitter. They were using AI. It was a video of Doctor and I believe Lucky Guy. And apparently it was against a Dream Witch and there was AI use. And then this has happened before when they were running like a little ad for IDV. There was like different characters. It was Ripper, Lizard Man, I believe Leo, and I was sitting there wondering, why are y'all using AI when you have artists, amazing, gorgeous, beautiful artists, mind you, that can just draw up such a beautiful creation surrounding IDV. We've seen the artists at work before, which is weird because those same artists kind of be whitewashing some of the darker skinned characters on here, but I digress. Point is that they're using AI. That's not okay. Guys, don't use AI. It's already harming the environment around us. And if anybody has anything to like explain or try to justify it, I will be looking at you sideways. There's no justification for generative AI. My bad, y'all. I had to cut off there because somebody called me. But basically, so there's this like, so take Safari. Recently, I found out that Safari tracks you. And along with Google, literally Google and Safari, they both track you and they both use their stuff and sell it to like potential spammers and scammers, whatever the case may be. They use that. And then there's also the fact that there's this AI called Copilot or whatever, AI slop. It generates the AI. It steals, generates, and it hurts the environment. Ecosa, which I found out uses AI, but they're using a creative AI to help plant trees. That's like the huge difference between them. Everybody thought that Ecosa was using generative AI, but no, they're using a creative AI to basically code to where like it'll signal back to the creators of it, and then the creators will plant trees. So far, they've planted a lot of trees as we know of. It's a slow process, but the more people use it, the more seeds are being planted. Each time you like search up stuff. Oh cool, I have a match. And you know, while we're waiting, I'll take this time. Prime example of this is this skin. This skin. I didn't even know it was whitewashed till last minute. Along with this one. It's slightly lighter, but Patricia's a dark skin one. Anyway, point is, NetEase, don't use AI. Y'all already have a problem with whitewashing Patricia, Ganji, Kevin, William, and Naib. And I believe there's another character who's also dark skinned. No, it's just 3 characters, 3 top characters that get whitewashed. And then y'all got this weird habit of also whitewashing your white characters. I don't get that. It just all correlates back to the modernization that they're trying to do. This idea that like everything needs to be modern, their faces need to be mogged and chiseled. I noticed that. And with some characters, yes, there was like a moderation or optimization needed. But the way they're doing it, it's like in such a weird way that it's getting a bit like boring. I don't know. I can only explain it in terms like this. Patricia's top S tiers, they get rid of features that are important to them. Her nose, for example, they shrink her nose. They did the same with William on his new A tier that's coming out for the COA event. The idea that you need to shrink a character's nose to make them look better is a very racist implication, and y'all don't want to go down that path or die on that hill. I'm just letting you know right now. And this is coming from someone who literally didn't even notice until like I had a few mutuals express to me that something happened to her nose, and I was so confused at first. I was like, what do you mean something happened to her nose? I look, her nose was shrunk. William's nose was not only shrunk, but his skin was like super ashy. It was bad. Along with Ganji's too, his skin. We literally see that in the 3 portraits that they had for their birthdays. Patricia was practically white. And then to see that, and then they're using AI, that is a double whammy to the face. It's like a kick in the knee at this point. for a kick to the shin. Heck, if I saw my favorite character who's supposed to represent the black community or any other South Asian community, black community, East Asian community, heck, any community basically, where what I was trying to make is that every community needs to be represented properly, including the disabled community. Y'all are like, how does it correlate to representation? As an artist, if I saw a company that pays artists a lot to make a bunch of stuff, for example, the figurines that we have right now, an artist did that. If somebody was paying me to do that and then they turn around and use AI, what does that mean for me? Am I gonna get fired at some point? Are we running out of money? No, that's a multi-millionaire company. This game that talks about so many stories, that literally talks about so much stuff. We have a story about domestic abuse, a story that literally talks about medical abuse. We witnessed that. Top two stories that talk about medical abuse, divorce, mental illness. A story that talks about an identity crisis and literally abuse within a field that involves Pharaoh lady. Like, Pharaoh lady is a title, mind y'all. So Martha, she's a Pharaoh lady, and she's stuck under a pressuring power that like literally forces you to work for somebody until you have your debt paid. This is basically just like a power dynamic imbalance against like women and young girls, which is something that Pharaoh lady Evelyn tries to like lessen the pressure because she takes care of each girl. And then we have this one's literally about a cult. This is literally how the grooming of the cult happens. Like, this is what happens. It's traumatic. It's not something to be romanticized. She had dreams. She was supposed to go to college. And then we have this one. This literally talks about the dynamics. I don't know how to explain theirs, but it's jealousy and mental illness as well. And then the fear of like the past haunting you. Hers, misogyny and ableism, topics that NetEase is talking about. And I just don't like the way that they're handling this game. And then these characters have such compelling stories. And then we have Patricia, Jose, and Kevin. Racism, inadvertently enabling racism and feeling guilt about it. And it haunts him to the point to where he's willing to sacrifice his life for Patricia. And another case, racism with Michiko. Violetta. That is another case. Violetta and Margarita, misogyny, ableism, and domestic violence. That's what it is. Barmaid, I kid you not, this is literally just this is another case of discrimination because she has vitiligo and her mother called her a monster for that. But she also has she's also very lily liver, and her brother who is implied to have probably got rid of her mother or father. I'm not sure, I didn't read the thing fully, but I know he got rid of one of them to protect Barmaid. Yeah. Meanwhile, some of these entities, aka Dream Witch and Hatzer, that's another situation I can't explain, but they all have compelling stories. I believe they're both correlated to the occult, which is not a good thing. So like, guys, don't romanticize the occult. It's very traumatic and dangerous. And oh wait, another case. Kurt and Luca, ableism, and Aesop, ableism, mental illness. Kurt has schizophrenia. I'm not sure what Luca has. I think he has amnesia. And he also suffers from bad headaches. Aesop is autistic. And then there's Knives' case. Knives and Williams. Racism and then having to fight the war. He had to go to the war at a young age. William was facing discrimination and racism in football. And people were talking about, dang, we're probably never gonna get a character that's like different in some shape or form. Like, it's like modeled in a different body type basically. Because people were thinking, oh, we'll probably get a plus size character like Clerk. But with all the fat phobia that was displayed in this community, and then with how people act with different sets of characters, fat phobia, ableism, this whole like weird idea that like they want a different character, but as soon as they get said different character, they start to hate on it in such a way that's like discriminatory and bigoted. And this community needs to really work on that, if I'm being honest. Her story is so complex and compelling. She literally was trying to become a whole lawyer or a judge of the sorts. And her brother was literally using that for corrupted purposes, so she poisoned him to the point to where he was incapacitated and then took his job. And she made herself ugly so that people would take her seriously. Her whole thing is that she doesn't want, it's basically, it's kind of like Melly. She didn't want to be just seen as this pretty wife who like sits beside her husband and does nothing but just looks pretty. He saw her only for her beauty, not for her brains, and she hated that. It got to the point to where she just hid her face. And then we see that she got stung by bees. Guess who's trying to file a divorce after she got stung by bees? Her husband. So she kills him. It's not justified, it just explains her story, and it explains why she doesn't show her face. I wouldn't want to show my face either if somebody just only saw me for my beauty and nothing more. Literally, the dentist, he had so much stuff. He had freckles, a large, like a specific type of nose. They got rid of it with this S tier. Y'all are making these characters just to remove their features. This is what Patricia, right here, there's a huge difference. Her nose is big, her lips are bigger. Her lips are slightly smaller here too. See, I can't. That's what I'm talking about when I say there's a huge difference that nobody's gonna notice because most of the people aren't black, or they are black, but they just like, it's weird. I've been seeing so many people who are black try to justify it and try to say it's not that deep, but it is that deep. For years, black people have been getting whitewashed along with many other races. They've been getting whitewashed, or their history has gotten whitewashed, and nobody cares. People say it's not that deep, but if it wasn't that deep, why are you still treating us the way that we don't want to be treated? Why are you still discriminating against us? Why are you still trying to justify blackface? And why are you trying to justify calling Patricia a monkey? Why are you trying to justify drawing William as a monkey? Drawing William as white? Drawing Patricia as white? Drawing these characters in specific stereotypical ways that nobody would want to see from any other character. This is basically creative AI. These characters are basically creative AI. They're coded to do this stuff. They're coded to like slam down a pallet. They're coded to attack the hunter. Oh my god, Whittle, oh my god, I should have known that. Why didn't I think of that? I was literally sitting here, I'm like, dang, how am I supposed to explain this? I literally have the reason. These are creative AIs. Oh my god, and we got, oh my god. Say, I know y'all are probably like, dang, Whittle, calm down. It's really not that. It is that deep. NetEase is using generative AI when they literally could do a creative AI type thing with like there's so much creative stuff out there, and to use generative AI is just like, wow, all this creativity, and you're hurting the same environment that gave you access to this creativity. I don't want to look outside and see sludge and stuff everywhere around me. I want to see the trees, the forest, the very same things that give me access to the backgrounds that we have today. Without any of this stuff, you wanna know what we wouldn't have? We wouldn't have freaking Ghibli studio. We wouldn't have any of these studios that we have today. Heck, we wouldn't even have IDV. There's so much stuff that's just beautiful and creative. This game as a whole is such a beautiful thing, and to see that these devs or creatives are just out here mistreating these characters, harming the environment, just for the sake of some money, it makes me sad. And I can't help but sit there and be like, dang, should I be devastated or should I just not be surprised? All of these beautiful things that we have with these upcoming games and so much diverse outlooks, I want to keep that going, and I want to represent every person that exists within the world.